The Wrestlemania Backlash go-home show of Monday Night Raw is done. Another Alexa's Playground this week, but this time it wasn't backstage. It was on the stage inside the Thunderdome, live on WWE RAW. But this is things you might have missed, so before we get started, please make sure you hit the like button, subscribe to the channel if you're new. Love that new graphic. And of course, if you can, please share the video, retweet the tweet, etc. and let people know we're here. There was no waiting around this week. Of course, the very first match was the 6-woman tag team match. And of course, it was interrupted by Little Miss Bliss and her new friend, Lilly. Of course, they took to the stage and basically confirmed they were out there to keep their eyes on someone. Now, of course, we got a panned view of this. Really interesting. You can still see the rocking horses there. You can see the Alexa's Playground wording. Very different graphics for it, though. The clouds look very different to what they were before. You can see now the Lilly doll is there on the screens. And, of course, Alexa Bliss had her little graphic in the center as well. You may not have realized this at the time, but this was the very first time ever that Lilly has appeared in the Thunderdome, actually in the arena. But of course today, well, people have been talking about Lilly quite a bit. Because there is new merchandise on WWE Shop. Of course, Alexa Bliss Lilly doll, t-shirt and hoodie are available to pre-order now. The t-shirt is really cool. I like this design. It's like the doll is there. You can see like the light with a candle. And of course you got the lighted walls and the wood around her. That's pretty cool. It's available in youth and women's as well. And it is available right now as well on WWE Euro Shop. The hoodie is super awesome as well. It comes with the logo of Lilly coming out of the box. The Fiend in a box kind of thing with Play and Pain right underneath it. It is actually designed on the back of the t-shirt as well. So this is definitely a logo they are definitely going to pursue in WWE. We've always known merchandise to kind of give away potentially what's going to happen, because obviously there's clues in the merch. Now we know what this box was. They explained it was the Fiend in the box. That meant the devil in the box. The demon was in the box the whole time. Yes, the Fiend was a demon. He came out of the box. And of course, we also saw Alexa Bliss herself rise from that box at WrestleMania. Her demon, her devil was unleashed. Then we heard Lilly for the very first time. Now, interestingly, this look for Alexa Bliss, if this is the devil, if this is her devil, that's Lilly. And if we know now Lilly comes out of the box because of the merchandise, this could be how Alexa looks permanently when she's that dark demonic character. Now, as we alluded to, Alexa Bliss was on the stage to watch the WWE female superstars in the ring. Now, of course, WWE tweeted out very quickly, who do Lilly and Alexa Bliss have their eye on? And of course, the series of images from after the match. And of course, we did get some shenanigans during the match. Shayna Baszler's knee kind of gave out in very dramatic fashion. And it did then set up the end of the match. Asuka then pinned Shayna Baszler after the running attack and all that stuff. But then all the superstars were focused solely on Alexa Bliss. They weren't interested in who won the match or what's Charlotte doing or what's Nia and Shayna doing. They all stood around watching Alexa because the fear is there. Now, first thoughts was this was Charlotte. Charlotte was seemingly the first person they cut to. She was the first person they sort of showed looking at Alexa Bliss. So that's the initial thoughts. But I really don't know. And the only issue I have with it is, yes, if Shayna's knee was a work, she was on the same team as Charlotte Flair. So it could tie in that she made her team lose. That kind of makes sense. But later on in the night, we got Asuka and Rhea Ripley with Charlotte Flair coming down to ringside and no Alexa Bliss. Now, Was she just not interested in watching this from the stage? Or was it because Charlotte wasn't actually actively wrestling that she didn't feel like she needed to be there? That's a distinct possibility, but she wasn't there for this.
We interrupt this broadcast for an important message from Firefly Funhouse News.
Newsbreak.
We all remember the Fiend Bray Wyatt attacking, at the time, special guest referee Kurt Angle. This was back on his crusade when he was attacking legends before his big debut match. And of course, Kurt Angle has now spoken about this on his new Kurt Angle show. And he basically said that his kids cried at the Fiend attacking him, which I kind of thought was, wow, that's quite shocking. But then you think about it, and man, that's some of the best credibility you can give a character like the Fiend. To know that, you know, your children, who have probably seen you wrestle a lot, were scared. That literally reminded me instantly of The Undertaker. When Undertaker debuted and would make his entrance down to the ring, kids in the audience legitimately cried. Adults were nervous. And it made me think, like, the way people criticize the Fiend and this supernatural character is very similar to the way they did The Undertaker back in the early 90s, when people were saying, this kills wrestling. And that's exactly what we're getting today, just with the Fiend. And it made me think, gosh, as an adult, we sit here and we analyze everything. But there are kids legitimately scared, legitimately in awe of a character like the Fiend, and in maybe 20 years' time, they're going to be looking back at the Fiend the same way that me and you now look back on The Undertaker. Just a cool little bit of news to really report there. It's really cool. Wrestlemania Backlash is this Sunday night. I'm excited. I think there's some good matches on the show. We will get predictions up on the channel at some point. But before we do that, if you go on WWE.com, I don't think this is for Peacock, but if you're in the UK right now and you go on WWE.com, you get this pop-up to watch WrestleMania Backlash for 99p per month. What? Honestly, if you don't have the network and you're sort of talking about it, go and get it, because 99p a month, that's cheap. Now, there's a lot of people asking me this week, again, has Alexa Bliss stole the gimmick of the Fiend, of Bray Wyatt, of the Funhouse? And my answer is no. She's definitely stole the rocking horse. There's no doubting that. We're seeing that on Raw this very week. But she hasn't stole the gimmick. She's explained this part. She was in the Firefly Funhouse, and while she was there, Bray Wyatt taught her everything she needed to know. Everything she needed to know to be a standalone competitor. So it makes sense that when she now puts that into action, it's going to be similar to what Bray Wyatt has taught her, because that's what she knows. That's all I think that it is. I think, again, the clickbait YouTube channels, we spoke about them before, I think they're just having people on. It's a way to worry you, so you click the video hoping there's going to be some kind of evidence that that's actually happened. It's not. Literally every one of them I've seen personally has said, we haven't seen Bray Wyatt since WrestleMania. I might have been imagining it, but we literally had him in the Firefly Funhouse the week after. And that Funhouse was all about trying to reassure people he will be back. He literally said it. Fun fact, we got a Randy Orton backstage moment on Raw. A lot of people DM'd me asking me to mention this, and I think it's definitely worthy of it. Randy mentioned he likes setting people on fire. Now, obviously, again, this is one of those subtle little things that WWE could potentially be putting out there for the world to kind of talk about and say, maybe it's open for the future for Randy to do something with Bray again. Jeff Hardy, obviously this week on Raw, made his Raw return. If you didn't know, he was on Main Event last week. but now he's back on Raw. Now he's back. Can we please get the match between Jeff Hardy and The Fiend? If you didn't know, Jeff Hardy has been very, very vocal that he wants to bring Willow to the WWE to face The Fiend Bray Wyatt. I honestly think it would be perfection. Do it now before you have live fans back and you can do some kind of cinematic masterclass. Later than normal, but if you stuck with the video, you're being rewarded because it's now time for everyone's favourite things you might have missed segment, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. It's Puppet Watch! Only kind of, because obviously I'm talking about the video uploaded yesterday on the channel, The Big Secret, when we took an in-depth look at what Ramblin' Rabbit represents to Bray Wyatt, to the Funhouse, and to us as the fans. Very interesting video, sparked a lot of debate in the comments section. But it's part 1. There is a part 2 coming later this week, Wednesday or Thursday. Make sure you stay tuned to the channel for that. All eyes have to be on Sunday night's Backlash, because if it's potentially Charlotte Flair that she's targeting, Alexa Bliss could make it known at Backlash. She could cost Charlotte that Raw Women's Championship. It could be very, very exciting indeed. So make sure you're watching Backlash. Follow me on Twitter at CWrestlingUK, because I'll be live tweeting throughout Backlash, and of course any potential stuff that goes down. There will be videos up on the channel. So if you haven't already, hit the subscribe button and turn on post notifications so you never miss an upload. Like this video, please. It really does help the channel out, so it's very much appreciated. And I will see you next time. Thanks for watching. Peace! WWE shop, can we now get the replica Lily doll, please? Just asking for a friend.